Hi, Lorry. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hi. We're so happy to have you on the show today. You and I have known each other for a really long time. And side note, our listeners don't know this, but you are my cousin.
Yes.
And we have spent a lot of time over the past couple of months talking about our menopause stories together, sharing that with one another. And I really wanted to have you on the show today to share your story because I think that your story is going to impact so many of our listeners. You started menopause at a young age, little cat out of the bag there. But can you first tell us how old you are, a little bit about yourself, and when you started or when you reached menopause?
Yeah. Okay. I just turned 47 on February 17th.
Happy birthday.
And I literally just discovered like within the past few months that I am in postmenopause. And so when I started menopause, really all I really can do is go back to symptoms and go back to times in my life and think like that's when it was. And it was about 2018, 2019.
Hmm.
So I was young. Whatever the math is on that, that's how old I was. I was over
Yeah, we're
40.
not going to do math on the show today.
Yeah.
It's
So
too hard,
but
but
that's all
it's
I can really
young.
do is figure that out. And
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So
So 47, so you're 47 right now. So I just
mhm.
want to remind listeners that the average age to reach menopause is 51, and that's for white women. It's a little bit younger for other ethnic groups, but 47 is young. And you just found out that you're postmenopause. So if you back into that, do that math, you were in
Mhm.
your early 40s
Mhm.
when you either reached menopause or you started perimenopause. Who knows,
Mhm.
right? It's
Yeah.
all hindsight. But um, that's that's important for our audience to note. And I want to just open up the floor to you right now to allow you time to share your story and your journey with our listeners. So I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Um okay, so it was so let's just talk about periods. So
Let
I've always been very regular, always been very regular. I just always know when I'm going to start my period, and not even by the calendar, but how my body felt. And so I do remember the first time that my period was delayed, and that was in about 2018. Um, and I chalked it off to like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant, even though my husband had a vasectomy. And I'm like, I'm going to be that one in a million, And so I took all these pregnancy
That's
tests
so
and
funny how we go there, right?
yeah, yeah, totally. Um, but I wasn't. And then I chalked it off to stress. So on that note, to talk about mental health, I have battled with depression for my entire adult life. Ups and downs, highs and lows and it's usually situational. I was diagnosed with what's called generalized anxiety disorder, which is the most difficult because I'm like, cool. So it's like this giant, like whatever. But I'm like, okay. So but with that, uh I just assumed all these symptoms I was having was because of that. And so I was put on, different pills, different medications, different like go to therapy, do all this, do all that. And so I thought my period was really not showing up because of stress. Um and then most recently, like in the past, well, about 2 years ago, I started having joint pain. And I also have learned that, our bodies will store stress and things like that. So I still always went back in my mind to mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and which is really sad. And so then fast forward now to August of this year, I was just like, my periods are so irregular. And at that point now, not only is the anxiety intense, my joints all over were hurting. My skin was feeling some sort of way. Like the night sweats,
Yeah.
that was the one
It's
where I was like,
awful.
okay, this is not normal. This is
Yeah.
not safe.
I gotta
Like,
go. I gotta
yeah,
get help.
why is my pillow soaking wet? Like, what is going on? And so at that point I thought, okay, well, what if I'm going through menopause? What if I'm doing that? And so do you want me to keep going
Yeah,
Yeah,
on that?
keep
keep
going. Keep
going.
going. Yep.
So I think I reached out to you, April. I'm like, what's going on here? And you're like, okay, well, you kind of guided me to go talk to somebody, see what's going on or whatever. So I did. I ended up, I was nervous to go to a doctor because my history with going to doctors, with telling the doctors about my symptoms, always resulted in a prescription and
Mm.
talk about mental
Yeah.
health.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I thought I was going crazy. And I'm like, I am not going crazy. And if I am going crazy, I need someone to tell me differently, like tell me
Yeah.
what to do about it rather than just popping all these pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went and saw a naturopath who did all my, just a bunch of blood work and all of my markers. I was not producing any hormones at all whatsoever. So, you know, we could talk about all that, but that was I started taking these different supplements. Don't ask me what those were. I could tell you, I could look it up, but
Yeah.
whatever, I just trusted. And then the symptoms started to subside.
Mhm.
So it was, and then we did blood work again and we saw, okay, this is actually working. And also I understand that, you know, the certain times of month, depending on where you are in your cycle, when you do the blood work and all that could vary.
Right.
And so you had taught me that, April. And so I made sure we took the, you know,
Good.
did the work, like the blood work that, you know, I was just very mindful of how my body
Yeah.
was feeling throughout the month. And sure enough, I'm in postmenopausal and I probably have been for a while. I just
Mhm.
looked, I look about once a week. I'm 224 days past my period.
There you
So
go.
I'm just waiting for, you know, that 1 year mark so I can say I'm actually done.
Yeah, you can celebrate. We'll have a party for you.
Yeah,
When
we
Can we
should.
please? My gosh.
menopause. We need to do that more often, I think. You unpacked so much that
Yeah,
we
it was a
could
lot.
just keep going with your story. I want to come back to the fact, though, that you struggled with mental health,
Mhm.
and yet here you are going through perimenopause, and you're still getting band-aids and pills slapped at you. And
Well, not
nobody
anymore.
said, maybe you're going through perimenopause. Maybe this is
Yeah,
it.
nobody
Maybe you
said that.
should look at this, right? Nobody.
Nobody
Well,
said that. No one ever said that. No, and here's the thing. I didn't even know to ask that. That's why, and that's one of the reasons why I feel so strongly about doing this podcast with you guys, because it's like, you know, I'm still young. Nobody talked to me. I mean, bless my mom's heart, you know, but it's an uncomfortable conversation. You know, nobody wants to talk about periods. And so to be able to like just share my story and get vulnerable where I need to and let women know that it's okay and we have to advocate for ourselves,
Absolutely.
you know, and sometimes we don't even know how to do that. And I
Well,
still don't know how to do it. I'm winging it. But I mean, you know, so
you knew that that the doctors that you've been going to haven't helped you. And you didn't just settle for that. We hear people all the time talk about how, oh, the doctor didn't help me. And, you know, I famously tell a story about how my general practitioner landed a book in my lap. And I'm like, no, okay, I need more
yeah,
than this.
yeah.
So you went
yeah.
about finding a way to find a doctor that would listen to you, that helped you, that really helped understand what was going on with you. How did you get through that process and figure that out? Because there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't even know where to turn. I
Mm.
don't even know how to describe what's happening to me. And it sounds like you tracked it and you found a practitioner that would help you. Like, how did you get to there?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest challenge was kind of, I mean, it wasn't until I started having the night sweats
Mhm.
that you know, those hot flashes, man, those are something else. And so,
Serious.
and yeah, and everyone hears about hot flashes when you go through menopause. So that was what was the tipping factor. And so
Mhm.
so what I also knew is that um I never really had like a primary care physician that I super trusted. And it's not that I just didn't really, I
You
don't
didn't
know. I
prioritize it.
felt like every time
Yeah.
I went in, it's like, oh, you know, I was diagnosed with ADD at 45 years old. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like, I have an answer. And then I'm
Mm.
like, wait, what's wrong with having ADD? Maybe I've become a successful woman because of this, you know,
Right.
energy. And
Right.
how do I hone that
Right.
in? And so I really wanted to take kind of a holistic approach to my healing, I guess, in a sense. And
Mhm.
with that, that meant I needed to get some blood work done and I needed someone to explain menopause to me. And
Yeah.
so I went on, you know, Instagram and I was like, hey, friends, you know, who do you recommend that whatever? And so I found a naturopathic doctor in that actually takes my insurance because that's the other thing.
Mhm.
Um, down in Edmonds, actually, who I see.
Perfect.
Our backyard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you bring up another important point, Lori, is that you reached out to your community. And
Mhm.
so often we just suffer in silence because some of the things that are happening to us, we don't necessarily want to share with other people.
Mhm.
We don't want people to think that we're going crazy. And so there's this shame and stigma
So
sometimes that
much.
surrounds menopause and what's happening.
Yeah.
And yet, look where it landed you, right? You were able to
Mhm.
get the help that you needed, and you
Mhm.
found a great healthcare practitioner. And I know that you also found other modalities that have helped you as well. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about your breath work and your meditation, and
Mhm.
just tell me a little bit about that and how that helped
Yeah.
you.
Oh, I love talking about this. Yeah. So through the process in learning that I wanted to deal with, mental illness, because I thought I was mentally ill at the time. In learning all of this, it was more about rather than slapping a pill on the depression or the anxiety or anything like that, I wanted to learn how to manage it and how to live with the ADHD, how to continue to move forward in life, being able to manage it. And so through all of this, I've learned the power of breath work and how to, quiet the mind and go within and find the answer. And also yoga. So all of the joint pain, the hips are the big one. Yoga, physical therapy, that's helped me tremendously. Um, Cold therapy,
Hmm.
do art therapy, just slowing down,
Yeah.
learning those different
Yeah.
things, to slow down and really be mindful and listen to my body. And then also journaling is a big one. Learning to appreciate my body and, kind of tap into that feminine energy, that feminine side, and being proud of being a woman, and that my body gets to do this, do
Mhm.
these things. I get to grow a baby and I get to, like all these things is really cool.
Yeah.
Accepting the fact that, yeah, I went through menopause early it's hard, because I'm not quite ready to continue to age, but I guess it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. We're
yeah,
here.
yeah. So
Good.
You're here today helping us educate other women, which is really the whole reason MiDOViA came together, is that we saw our friends in our community really struggle around this topic. And we knew that we had this like calling to be able to talk about what's really going on.
mm,
What would have helped you earlier had you known? Because before we started this podcast, we were we were joking in a sense that some of the younger people that we know are like, oh yeah, I don't need to talk about that yet. But boy, I wish I would have
yeah.
known some of these things
Yeah.
going into it.
So
What,
what would have helped me?
yeah, what would
Yeah.
have helped you as you think back on some of these crazy things that were happening? And of course, we blame it on the fact that we're crazy, right? It has to be me, and it's had
Mhm.
not happened to anybody else. And I'm just gonna, take
Yeah.
care of it on my own, whatever that is. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's, the things that you ended up doing with your general practitioner doctor. But if you're younger right now and you're looking at your older self, what do you wish that you would have known that we could share with other people who may not be at the stage that you're at right now?
Yeah. I think just awareness,
Yeah.
awareness. My, a little fun fact, my mother had a child at my age. She had a baby when I was 20 years old. And so, when my doctor said to me, well, when did your mom go through menopause? I was like, well, not at my age, because she
Yeah.
literally birthed a child at my age. And so I asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, did you go through menopause? She's like, I don't think I did. I'm like, well, do you have periods? I'm like, you went through menopause. And she doesn't recall any of it. And
Yeah.
so, but she never really talked to me about it. And and that's not her fault by any stretch. So I think just building awareness, which you guys are doing. When I was going through my thing, going through everything, kind of questioning things, April, you would like kind of pop into my DMs on Instagram and be like, have you
Yeah.
thought of this? And then I'm like, oh, and so then I'd go and start looking up things and whatever. So
Mhm.
just being able to normalize the conversation and make it not uncomfortable. And that would have been great. It would have been great to know where my resources were. It would have been
Yeah.
great to even know that menopause was a thing at this age.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't really know that I can answer it of like what, like any kind of
Specifically, but
tangible
generally.
specific. It's just normalizing the
Yeah.
conversation. Here's one. How about our doctors ask about it? How about our doctors tell
Right.
us? How about
Right.
our doctors say, hey, just a heads up, some of these symptoms are relatable to menopause. Let's talk about that. Nobody
Yeah.
ever did that.
No,
I
and
don't think
doctors
that
aren't.
a lot of healthcare professionals know. And that's beginning to change. We're starting to see more education and awareness there as well,
Yeah.
so that it isn't just a, birth control pill or an
Yeah.
SSRI or
Yeah.
anything else, right? A sleeping pill. I think that's changing. But if I hear what you're saying, Lori, if there were 10, 30-year-olds, 35-year-old women sitting in front of us, what I think you're saying is educate yourself.
Yeah.
No, not when you're 50 and you've probably already reached menopause, but
Yeah.
educate yourself now and prepare yourself.
Either, yeah, that, and just know that it's okay to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just know it's coming. You don't have to be afraid of it. Like, know it's coming. I mean, there is nothing more certain other than death that you
Yeah.
will go through menopause. So
Yes,
just know it's coming.
exactly. Every single one of us is going to go
Yeah,
through
Yep.
it's going
menopause.
to
Yeah.
happen, and it's okay to discuss. And
Yeah.
that's to me, that's really important. I think I mentioned I own El Marie Hair Studio. I have a salon company with 5 locations, and like 99% of them are women. And so they are very young. And I will talk about this sometimes with them, and you can just see it kind of go right over their head. But I know that something sticks,
Uh-huh.
something's going to stick. And they're going to be like, when they get to that point in their life, they're going to know it's normal and it's okay to talk about. And here's some resources. And so I love what you guys are doing. And I definitely want to bring this to my company to make sure that they know where they can access this information, because
Yeah.
there's so much information out there that is some of it's conflicting, some of, like it's confusing. And so
Right.
if they know where their resources are, and they can advocate for themselves in that space too. So
Yeah. And side note on that, we'll put in the show notes, you do have an event coming up
I
for
do. Yeah.
community, and we get to come up and deliver some of our content. So that's coming up in March. So we'll pop that in the show notes. So if
Yeah.
anyone's local in the North Seattle area, you're welcome to come. So we'll put that in the show notes.
Yes.
So Lori, if we've had a great conversation here today, but is there anything else, anything that we haven't discussed here that you would want our listeners and our audience to know?
I mean, man, I feel like I said a lot. And I
It's
feel
all
like you
great stuff,
guys,
though. Keep
yeah,
talking.
yeah. I don't know. I think, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous. I had a little bit of a sleepless night last night because I'm like,
Oh,
what am I gonna talk about? How am I gonna, like, I want to bring value to this conversation. I'm not an expert by any stretch. I'm still learning. Like, there's still certain things like my joint pain in my hips. I'm like, is it menopause, or do I need a full on hip replacement eventually? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that it's normal to go through this phase of life,
Yeah.
and we're not doing it alone, and so I don't know that there's anything else I would add other than I don't mind vulnerable and comfortable conversations. So if anybody wants to call and talk about periods, let's do
Reach out to
it.
Lori. Exactly.
well, Lori, one of the things you did say that I appreciated and that I think women don't know how to do is you slowed down.
Oh.
You took time for yourself. You were saying before the recording started, you said, this is my second birthday month in a row where I've decided to take care of myself. And man, that takes a long time to learn. And it really does make a huge difference in managing the symptoms.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that you brought that up, because you can't go after this problem the way you've gone after every other problem in your life. You really have to do the radical self-care to feel good. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Slow
Thank
down,
you.
breathe, radical self-care, journaling, time for yourself, breath work, yoga. It's
Mm,
all at our fingertips. But the other right thing, and I'll say bravo, Lori, is that you advocated for yourself. You
thank you.
didn't give
Yeah.
up, and you found the answers.
Hmm.
And
Thank you.
oftentimes we don't. So bravo.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, slowing down is something that is really, really hard for me. I was raised by a woman that is like, go, 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 go all the time. And she's just a phenomenal woman. And I think as women, we, you know, it's important, not just women, but as humans. I mean, it's important to have people that you are like mentors. And it's like, how do they
Yeah.
do it? You know, like
Right.
learn from them and let them kind of guide the way a little bit. But sometimes we get lost and we think we need to do it just like they did it because it worked for them.
Mm,
And so we're constantly chasing something without realizing that it's okay to be still. It's okay to just breathe, you know,
yeah.
I don't know, when you go through something like menopause and your body is failing you, you at least like you think it's failing you and your mind is all over the place and you can't quiet it and you're already a hyperactive person like I am. I mean, it is very, very challenging to learn those different modalities to just be. And
You're a
that's
great
something that I've
example.
had to,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to navigate. And I'm still navigating it.
Yep.
We
And you know
all
the
are,
rest of your
right?
life. Oh,
Learning.
yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
always in school. We're always in school.
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, we're going to have a little bit of fun, Lori. We always end the episodes with a rapid fire. So we're going to rapid fire. And I had to think about these questions because I know you. So I can't ask her that because I know what she's going to answer. So we're gonna rapid fire.
Okay, let's do it.
Camping or hotels?
Camping or hotels? How
Which
about
one?
glamping?
Oh, she's gonna go right in the
Glamping.
middle. My kind of gal.
Yay.
Okay, good.
With like a
Uh,
teepee in the forest with a
Yeah,
stream
Perfect.
with a whole bunch
Someone
of
completely.
else
women.
cooks for you. Speaking of
Yes.
which,
Oh, okay. There
home
you go.
cooked meals or dining out?
I love dining out.
Yeah.
I'm not a good cooker
Good cooker.
Not a good
at all.
cooker. So you
I
just let
love dining
somebody
out.
else do it. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so introvert or extrovert?
I've always said extrovert because I've always been told, but also I kind of feel like I get my energy from other people.
Mhm.
But I didn't like that answer because I'm like, nope, I want to get my energy from within. And I've
Yeah.
learned to really enjoy just being in solitude and being with myself. And so I would say I'm more of an introverted extrovert.
I love it.
Okay. Yeah, I love that.
And our favorite ending that we do with all guests, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
There's so You know what I'm going to say though? I'm going to say just do it. My mother, the one that go, 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 go all the time, we were in business together for many years and she thinks she wrote it and Nike stole it from her. But her mentality of just do it is something that, was like a what's that phrase, double-ended sword or something,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I would just do it, just do it, just do it. And pretty soon I'm doing all the things. And
yeah.
so like the February where I take my birthday month and just be calm, I
Just not do it?
yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Just
no, I
not do
just do
it,
it. I
right.
just like say yes or say no.
Right.
I think it could work both ways. Like I'm just going to do it how I want to do it.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
You know,
I love it.
I
so,
love that. And that does not surprise me about Colleen, that she is a just do it. I
she's
love
an
that.
amazing, amazing woman. But yeah,
Yeah, she is. We might have to have her on here sometime too. Okay. Well, Lori, it's been a
thank
pleasure.
you.
I am
Thank
so
you.
thrilled that we were able to have you on the show. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being honest. And we'll put your event in the show notes. And listeners, that is a wrap. Until next time, go find joy in the journey.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Take care.
you.